Birmingham, a city once known for its thriving culture and industrial heritage, has now become a hotspot for one of the UK's most dangerous gang conflicts. In recent years, gang violence has escalated to unprecedented levels, with rival groups clashing in brutal, often public ways. While this issue has plagued the city for decades, something has changed: social media. In the digital age, these platforms, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, have become more than just spaces for sharing photos and videos. They've become battlegrounds where gangs fight for respect, reputation, and survival. Social media doesn't just amplify the violence, it drives it, creating a dangerous feedback loop that escalates tensions and fuels real-world violence. In this video, we dive into the shocking reality of how social media is playing a pivotal role in the rise of gang violence in Birmingham. Through the lens of technology and culture, we'll explore how virtual beefs are spilling over into the streets and the devastating impact it's having on the community. To understand how social media has exacerbated gang violence, we must first look at the history of gang culture in Birmingham. The roots of gang violence in the city stretch back to the 1990s, a time when the city was seeing rapid social and economic changes. As the industrial backbone of Birmingham started to crumble, it left entire communities with limited prospects. Poverty, social exclusion, and a lack of opportunities became the breeding grounds for criminal activity. Key gangs like the Johnson Crew, the Burger Bar Boys, and the AK-47 crew emerged, each fighting for control of lucrative drug markets and territories. These groups operated within specific neighborhoods, often clashing in violent shootouts, leaving their mark on the city's landscape. In many ways, these gangs were a reaction to the growing sense of isolation felt by young people in marginalized communities. As time passed, the nature of gang violence evolved. What was once a battle for control of neighborhoods has now transformed into highly sophisticated criminal enterprises. The violence shifted from traditional street brawls to more organized and covert activities: drug trafficking, money laundering, and even the use of firearms in targeted attacks. The gangs began to operate like businesses, with leaders coordinating operations from the shadows and using intimidation and fear as currency. But this is where social media enters the picture. As these criminal enterprises grew, so did their digital presence. Gangs began to realize that their influence could extend far beyond the streets. Through the click of a button, they could reach thousands, even millions of people. Social media became a powerful tool for claiming territory, promoting gang culture, and, most dangerously, escalating violence. Social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok have become the primary tools for gang activity in the digital age. These platforms serve multiple purposes for gangs, from recruitment to violence escalation. But perhaps the most alarming development is how these platforms have facilitated real-time violence and allowed for the brazen boasting of criminal deeds. First and foremost, recruitment has become easier and more effective. Gangs can now target vulnerable individuals directly through social media, often using it to glamorize gang life and provide an enticing escape from a life of poverty and exclusion. At-risk youth are drawn to flashy posts showing money, cars, and a sense of belonging. What begins as a seemingly harmless social media interaction can quickly escalate into a full-fledged gang initiation, sometimes involving violent acts to prove loyalty. Secondly, social media has become a platform for territory and branding. Gangs use these platforms to claim their space in the digital world, posting images and videos that flaunt their achievements, whether it's a drug deal, a robbery, or a violent act. These posts are not just about proving their worth to their peers, but also about intimidating rivals. The more extreme the act, the more street credibility a gang gains, which is why social media has become a breeding ground for aggression. Publicity for violent acts is another deeply troubling aspect of social media's influence. It's not enough for gang members to carry out violent acts. They now need to broadcast them for the world to see. Posts, videos, and stories of violent confrontations are shared widely, often garnering attention and praise within their communities. For many young gang members, this is how they gain respect and build their reputation. Social media has become an extension of their criminal activities, amplifying the violence that occurs in the streets. The phenomenon of beefing, or public online rivalries, has taken these disputes to dangerous heights. What starts as a petty argument or insult online can escalate into full-blown violence. The virtual slights are often treated as real-world provocations, and gang members feel the need to act out in retaliation. These online battles fuel real-world violence, leading to street fights, shootings, and even murders. The digital world has essentially replaced the traditional street corner as the new battleground for gang rivalry. But the digital threats don't stop at public feuds. Doxing, the act of revealing private information about rival gang members, has become a common practice. Gang members use social media to expose the identities, families, and personal details of their enemies, leading to retaliatory attacks that often involve innocent people caught in the crossfire. This form of online harassment has further blurred the line between the virtual and real worlds. To truly understand the dangerous link between social media and gang violence, we need to look at specific cases where online activity directly led to tragic outcome. An online feud between two Birmingham gangs escalated after a video of a brutal fight was shared on Instagram. The video quickly went viral, sparking retaliatory violence between the two groups. This conflict, which had begun as an online dispute, turned deadly when one of the gang members, enraged by the post, sought revenge in a shooting that left multiple people injured. Case Study 2. Another high-profile incident occurred in 2019 when a gang member posted a video taunting a rival group, showing off weapons and bragging about a previous attack. The video quickly spread across social media, leading to a chain of violent events. Just hours after the post, a stabbing occurred, linked directly to the online conflict. This case shows how social media can escalate tensions, turning harmless boasting into deadly violence. Case Study 3. Gangs have also used social media to coordinate illegal activities covertly. In 2020, Birmingham police uncovered a drug operation where gang members used encrypted messages on WhatsApp and Instagram to arrange drug deals and weapons exchanges. These posts were carefully hidden in plain sight, making it difficult for law enforcement to track their activities until the operation became a full-scale investigation. These case studies reveal how social media can go from a platform for self-promotion to a catalyst for real-world violence, with deadly consequences for the community. With the rise of social media-driven gang violence, law enforcement in Birmingham has been forced to adapt. The police now rely on digital surveillance tools to monitor gang activity on social media platforms, using artificial intelligence, AI, to identify and track violent behavior. However, monitoring gang-related content on social media presents a number of challenges. Gangs have become more sophisticated in hiding their activity, using encrypted platforms and code words to avoid detection. Even when illegal activities are identified, it is often difficult to gather evidence that stands up in court, especially with the complexities of digital privacy laws. Despite these challenges, the Birmingham police have had some success in tracking and disrupting gang activities. Recent operations have led to the arrest of several key gang members who were identified through their social media activity. However, the success has been mixed, and law enforcement continues to struggle with how to balance surveillance with respecting individuals' rights to privacy. There are also ethical concerns surrounding digital surveillance, particularly regarding how far law enforcement can go in monitoring online activity without infringing on civil liberties. As the battle between gang members and law enforcement moves online, these ethical dilemmas are only going to become more complex. The power of social media to shape the lives of young people in Birmingham, especially those already on the edge of gang involvement, cannot be ignored. For many teens, platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat are not just spaces for self-expression, they are the battlegrounds for identity, validation, and respect. In these online worlds, the value of a person is often measured in likes, shares, and followers. And for some, gang involvement is the key to unlocking this digital currency. Social media has created a dangerous performance culture where street credibility is no longer earned in person. It's fought for online. Young people, especially those in vulnerable communities, are exposed to a constant stream of videos and posts that glorify gang life. The flashy cars, expensive clothes, and power that gangs project online become aspirations for teens who feel disconnected from society's more traditional routes to success. What starts as a way to gain attention or fit in quickly spirals into a need to prove one's worth through violent acts. The most chilling part? The feedback loop that social media creates. A post showing violent behavior or a taunting message toward a rival gang member doesn't just fuel online drama, it escalates tensions in the real world. Every like and comment offers instant affirmation, but it also reinforces a dangerous narrative. The more extreme the content, the more attention it gets. For many young people, this constant pressure to escalate their behavior online leads to increasingly reckless actions in the real world. This cycle is toxic. Young people caught in it often find themselves trapped, unable to break free. The desire to be seen as tough or respected online fuels deeper involvement in gangs, and the consequences are devastating, both for the individual and the community at large. The violence that is glorified online spills into the streets, leaving a trail of harm and broken lives. And as long as this digital validation continues to hold such weight, breaking free from the cycle will become even harder. While social media has played a significant role in exacerbating gang violence, it has also become a powerful tool for community organizations and grassroots movements working to combat it. Across Birmingham, these groups are using social media to challenge the glamorization of gang life, spread awareness about its dangers, and offer support to young people at risk. Local influencers and community leaders who have overcome their past in gangs are now using their platforms to offer positive counter-narratives. These leaders share their stories, showing young people that leaving gang life behind is possible. Anti-gang campaigns on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook are reaching a new generation, offering them alternative role models and messages of hope. Studies show the impact of these campaigns. A 2020 UK Home Office report found that 69% of young people who engaged with anti-gang content online reported a reduced interest in joining a gang. Additionally, Birmingham's Youth Justice Services saw a 15% decrease in gang-related activity in areas where these digital campaigns were active. One of the most notable campaigns was Peace Over Pride, which went viral in 2021. The campaign, featuring videos of young people from gang-afflicted areas promoting peace and unity, reached over 100,000 people in its first month. Police and local organizations collaborated with influencers, leading to a 20% drop in gang-related incidents in neighborhoods like Bordesley Green and Sparkbrook. These efforts have shown that social media can be used to reclaim the narrative, offering young people the chance to choose education and personal development over gang affiliation. By leveraging the digital space, Birmingham is making strides toward breaking the cycle of gang violence. As the violence continues to escalate, the need for regulations around gang-related content on social media becomes more urgent. Current laws are insufficient in addressing the scope of the issue, and platforms like Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok are often slow to remove harmful content. Stricter platform moderation and the use of AI to identify and remove harmful content are essential solutions. Furthermore, platforms must be held accountable for allowing gangs to promote violence through their sites. There must also be stricter penalties for those who use social media to organize illegal activities, with law enforcement empowered to take swift action. However, this raises the question: how do we balance freedom of expression with the need to protect vulnerable young people from harmful content? Striking that balance will require careful legal and technological solutions. Social media has become a powerful force in both promoting and combating gang violence in Birmingham. It's a tool for escalation, but it also holds the key to potential change. The responsibility now lies with both the community and law enforcement to continue the fight against social media-driven violence. Increased awareness, regulation, and intervention will be essential in protecting vulnerable youth and ensuring that the streets of Birmingham are no longer ruled by the digital war of gangs. We hope you enjoyed this video and want to thank you for watching until the very end. If you enjoyed this content, we have more in store for you. Make sure you hit like, share, and follow to see more.